Days of Our Lives. EJ's coma changes everything. Johnny makes this plea at hospital bedside. Days of Our Lives spoilers. Wednesday, March 26. Paulina's discovery. Holly rescues Doug. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that EJ DiMera's coma may change everything, at least for Johnny DiMera. Johnny may make a plea at his father's sanitarium bedside soon enough, so let's talk about all the drama that's brewing. Days of Our Lives has been laying the route for a riddle plot involving EJ and an unforeseen projectile crack. Someone's going to fire at EJ at the DiMera manse, but Days will end expose who's responsible right down. That'll give suckers an occasion to pound over plenitude of lawbreakers as the show starts narrowing down the suspect list. Of course, Johnny should be among the suspects, but it's doubtful he'll actually be the one to pull the detector. Considering how outraged Johnny's been recently, it'd be too easy to have him be the malefactor. We've to believe Days will get a little more creative than that, not to mention it seems like too harsh of a move on Johnny's part. Although Johnny could get arrested if substantiation points in his direction, he'll surely end up in the clear sooner or laterly. Whatever the case, there's a good chance nearly losing EJ will really shake Johnny up and fill him with remorse. Johnny has turned against EJ over the horrible story of his generality, but he may change his mind once EJ's fighting for his life in the sanitarium. That news should throw Johnny for a circle and leave him alarmed. It seems likely EJ will be stuck in a coma for a while, especially since that'll stretch out the shooter riddle and leave him unfit to identify the malefactor. At some point, Johnny may visit slow EJ in the sanitarium and make a hopeless plea for his pater to come back to the people who love him. Maybe Johnny will cry over his fear of not being suitable to make effects right and supplicate EJ to just wake up. Days spoilers say EJ will pull through this awful fire, but what'll be once he awakens? Will EJ point the cutlet at the right shooter, the wrong one, or indeed develop some temporary amnesia? Anyhow, the show's been offering up some terrible prognostications when it comes to EJ through some of the dialogue and revengeful moments from other characters. Days of Our Lives spoilers say EJ will slightly live through his worst agony, so stay tuned for updates on who'll be to condemn. Days of Our Lives spoilers Wednesday, March 26. Paulina's discovery. Holly rescues Doug. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, March 26, reveal that Paulina Price will make a disquieting discovery before Holly Jonas rescues Doug Williams. The third Tate Black will also unmask to Sophia Choi, so there'll be a lot passing in Salem on Wednesday's Days of Our Lives occasion. In the domain, Paulina will stumble across Doug sleeping on a domain bench. Doug easily crashed there after Julie Williams threw him out of the Horton house, so Paulina may prompt him to move on and find nearly differently to snooze. Days spoilers say Doug will eventually speak with Holly over the phone, so she'll come to his deliverance. Holly will offer Doug a place to reign and get some rest, so he'll appreciate her having his reverse. Of course, Doug will tell Holly how he no way had a chance to come clean to Julie since she formerly knew he was the choker pincher. Days spoilers say that'll get the bus turning for Holly and lead to her realizing Tate must have been the one to gossip. Speaking of dishing, Tate will open up to Sophia about what he's done away. It should leave Tate upset about Holly's response once she gets updates on his decision to rat Doug out. Sophia will offer some support and do her stylish to pull Tate closer, so they'll bond over further than just the baby on Wednesday's Days occasion. As for Julie, she'll fill Maggie Kiriakis on the rearmost Doug news and get some comfort in her time of heartbreak. Meanwhile, Paulina and Chanel Dupree DiMera will try to stay auspicious about the relinquishment moving forward. Despite Chanel and Paulina's positive prognostications, they'll run into another hitch with Amy Choi since she'll lash over some DiMera drama in Leo Stark's libelous composition. Johnny DiMera will realize Amy's fuming again, so that could make effects redundant delicate as EJ DiMera tries to fix their father-son relationship. EJ will indeed work toward peace, but Johnny will refuse to let his pater back in his life after what he did to Sammy Brady. Paulina will rip into EJ latterly as well, so she might come another suspect when it comes to EJ's forthcoming whodunit plot. Days of Our Lives spoilers say EJ will have plenitude of people going after him for vengeance in the coming occurrences, so stay tuned. Days of Our Lives Philip ditches Salem, also a huge return twist. Days of Our Lives sees Philip Kiriakis' time is nearly over, and when his fraud is fully exposed to the man he stole from, we're going to see him exit Salem on a walk of shame. But also, in a surprise move, Philip is back to press a point. We're going to dig into why he comes back after Xander cooked Kiriakis, finds out Philip stole half his heritage. Days of Our Lives, Xander's discovery of Philip and Sarah's treason. So, then's the timeline for Xander's discovery of the faithlessness and treason, not only by his family Philip, but also by his cherished woman Sarah Horton Kiriakis. So this week on Thursday, effects start to fall piecemeal for Philip, and that's going to lead to his hasty exit soon. Flashback: Xander eavesdropped Stephanie Johnson and Philip talking in the square. That was when Stephanie was irked because Philip was pressing her about whether she was going to keep quiet or tell Alex Kiriakis about the fraud. So under pressure, Stephanie agreed. She and Philip said, "Okay, we're going to keep this from Alex." And so that's what Xander eavesdropped. And on Thursday, Philip is also on the entering end of a cutting reproach from his half-family Xander. He lays into Philip because after eavesdropping him with Stephanie, he assumes she slept with Philip behind Alex's back. And part of that's because he's got no reason to suppose Philip and Stephanie have any other secrets that they're keeping. So when Alex confronts Philip, it's not like he can clear the air and say to Alex and Xander, no, man. I didn't sleep with Stephanie. We're hiding this other big secret. Oh, what's the big secret? Yeah. By the way, I stole half of Titan from you, so it's all good, right? But that can't be. And Philip knows that he's in a tough spot. He's painted into this corner. And unless there's some, phenomenon over this mess, there's about to be no choice but for Philip to flee Salem before Xander breaks his neck or the Bobbies come for him. Days of Our Lives spoilers: Philip and Stephanie make moves. So, Philip is going to try and play this all off. But also on Thursday, Xander doesn't want to enable Philip and Stephanie deforming over Alex. And he tells his kinsman that they're doing this secret fling thing behind his reverse. Alex believes Xander because they've this family bond now. And also he turns around, lays into Philip, grabs him up, makes pitfalls. At the same time, that battle is passing at the Kiriakis' manse. Sarah's freaking out, runs to Stephanie, and get this, Xander's woman wants Stephanie to let her swain Alex suppose she cheated on him so they can keep this Philip fraud thing under wraps. I mean, how wackadoo of a question is that? Of course, Stephanie isn't going to let Alex suppose she did him dirty to cover up for the dirty that Sarah and Philip have done. And also effects get indeed worse for those two prevaricators on Friday of this week. Days of Our Lives spoilers: Vivian Alamain, Kate Roberts, and the stolen heritage. Because after Sarah gets a hard no from Stephanie about asking her to lie to Alex, also of course Sarah's upset this whole thing is going to blow up in her and Philip's faces. They're in this deep together and Xander is gone nah lose it on both of them, which leads to Philip's exit and also a big return twist. And if you flash back, of course, Vivian Alamain started all of this. But also Kate Roberts got Vivian arrested and kind of took over managing Philip through this process to take advantage of Vivian's fraud and steal half of Xander's heritage. And Kate induced herself Victor Kiriakis would want Philip to have half the company. And the whole premise of the forged letter was to say that Victor would have left part of the company or all the company to Philip, but he didn't know he was alive when he wrote his last will and testament. But that's a big fat taradiddle. It's just that not that numerous people know it. Days spoilers: fake death in Salem. Still, Philip left his prosthetic leg at an offered crime scene to frame Brady Black for murder, if you flash back. And that was trying to steal Chloe Lane down. And also Philip took off out of city and he was presumed dead. The Joe's got a history of running from his problems and it's about to be again. But of course, there's further to it than all this and it's kind of wild what happens. Despite the fake death, Victor learned shortly laterally from Kate that their son was alive like a week perhaps two after the incident if I'm flashing back the timeline rightly. So, yeah. When Victor wrote his final will, he 100 knew Philip was alive and still left it to the other son that nothing knew about at the time, but Victor did. So, they vended this falsehood as the reason for the letter and engaged in the fraud. Xander remains in the dark. Days of Our Lives spoilers: Philip's exit and shocking return twist. And of course, Sarah and Philip know they're about to be outed. Friday's occasion has Sarah and Philip in a full-bloated fear. scarified what's going to be when Stephanie tells Alex the verity, because that's exactly what Stephanie does. And that means Philip's going to be packing his bags soon because he's leaving Salem. But it's a twist that's going to bring him back. So, Days of Our Lives spoilers confirm Stephanie tells Alex the whole entire unattractive verity. And also, the question becomes, what will he do after Stephanie comes clean? Will Alex go straight to Xander and tell him? I mean, I'm certain he wants to, but Stephanie may move him to stay. Then's why. May Sweeps kicks off in about 3.5 weeks. And this is the kind of plot they always save for reaches. Blow-ups, bifurcations, secrets exposed, secret halves, secret gravidity. So, we'll see if it jewels and rolls on and holds off until also. It also appears Philip and Sarah are exposed at the morning of May Sweeps, just grounded on some of the stuff we've seen. Xander's outraged, tells Sarah he wants to resolve. That's what we're told by our leaker. And also Philip takes off out of Salem. He knows Xander is going to get back total control of Titan. And in the process, Philip could face civil charges, felonious charges, there's phony, there's perjury, there's a lot of other crimes. So after Xander finds out his woman and family betrayed him, Philip goes exit stage left. Then's where the twist comes in. Although he prevaricated to Xander and took half of Titan, Philip did all that before he really knew Xander. So despite running down like a sissy in May, by this fall, we're going to see Xander's family back to Salem with his chapeau in his hand. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives: Philip's redemption arc, reconciliation, and forgiveness. That's where the twist comes in. After getting to know his family, Philip cares about him. He doesn't want to lose Xander. Philip forged a bond with Xander and he can't let go of it and he can't forget it. But it's further than that. Not only does Philip want to attune with Xander as sisters, but Philip also wants to help attune Sarah and Xander. He wants to put his family's life back together. And you know what Sarah did? It was one of those the worst effects with the stylish intentions. So anyway, Philip is gone for just a many months and also he's back and championing for Xander to forgive him, let him back into his life as a family, not as ACOCO or anything like that. Philip just wants Xander back, just as his family. And also he's trying to help him with Sarah. So at this point, they're supposed to be still resolve, but not disassociated. So, we'll see if Philip can help put his broken family Xander's life back together because the big hairy Scotsman is hugely destroyed chancing out these two people he cares about. Sarah and Philip have betrayed him and just prevaricated in his face. The only way it'd be worse is if Maggie Horton Kiriakis prevaricated to him, too. But fortunately, she didn't. She loves Xander. So, watch for Philip to put on his handling shoes and flee city in reaches. Also feel heartsick over what he's done and hot bottom it back to Salem in the fall to try and make effects right. That's a twist worth watching, I suppose. And Philip is still around Salem when Christmas rolls around. So, it looks like he does indeed get that remission that he wants from Xander. And that's a twist. Thanks for watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.